Brad swag tonight. I loved it. I love that energy. I think that's as close as you're going to get is him getting into someone's face and slapping someone around. Yeah, I hope I didn't say that. I hope I didn't say that really loud, man. I'm telling you, dude. P already told me they can hear me sometimes, man. I need to chill.
Oh Lord.
Speak your truth, Joe Sway.
Yeah.
Don't be scared.
Yeah,
Well, what specific?
See me get
That was a
outta
metaphor, right?
here. Sherrod wants to see me get bounced.
What specifically are you talking about?
He was on his feet pretty much every single play. If he wasn't, he was screaming like this. You know what I mean? But like emphasis, you know, like when you're screaming like this every time, that means what you're saying is so loud that like, it has to get through. And I love that from Brad. You know, no one said he has to get in people's faces or get physical as I turn my voice down here. But I just
Physical.
think
Someone's got to slap that. What were you
You
saying?
want to stop slapping people around?
yeah, like you know what I mean? Like just I'm not saying verbal abuse, but that constant
You just
voice.
did.
All anybody at the
you went
Garden
to
heard
physical.
was verbal and physical abuse. That's all they
Joe
heard.
Sway
But
is
you know what I
spooked right
mean?
now.
Just
Damn,
continue.
Joe Sway.
We hear you.
So violent.
I feel like Brandon. Someone's gonna grab my shoulder. So no, but no seriousness, guys. Like that's a significant difference, right? I mean, we didn't see that before. We saw it in spurts. Like I don't think he sat down throughout any of the plays. Really,
Well, you know what, Josue? We've talked about the fact that you can't do that for a full season. You're just going to wear thin on guys and completely lose your voice in the room. But with 9 games to go, you can do that. Into the playoffs, you can get a little more intense.
I disagree, Bobby. In fact,
It's desperation time
I
almost.
mean, it depends your style. It's not his style though.
The person who's quiet all the time and yells once really friggin' loud does get people's attention. The guy who yells all the time doesn't hold people's attention. So if Brad kept it caged and was calm and every once in a while just lost his freaking mind, I think that would have some effect.
Do you think he did that though?
I don't know.
Maybe
No,
he
I
did
don't
that
think
last
he.
night.
Well, sometimes
Marcus
the
thing had to have
circumstances
pissed him
call
off.
for it. Yeah.
I know that Marcus thing must have pissed him off, and I don't believe him. He found out the same time we did. I don't believe that 1 second.
You think that pissed him off?
I think that pissed him off. And I also think he found out maybe hours before we did. I don't think he
Pissed
found out.
off that Marcus
I don't think
did it, or
Woj
pissed
broke
off
the
that he
news.
got suspended?
I think both. Honestly, it's like
They
it's
had
like
a
Marcus.
conversation this morning.
You're right.
he
Oh
said.
yeah, and that's nothing too. Right? Yeah, you know what, Bobby? I'm glad you said that, which is so contradictory because he was like, first he says, "Oh, this is news to me. I just found out 10 minutes ago." And then he said he had a conversation about it. I mean, maybe he predicted the suspension or he could see it coming. He didn't know for sure, but he had to.
Maybe they caught wind that it was possible.
Right, exactly. They had definitely caught wind that it was possible.
Well, they knew the situation happened.
Otherwise, why? What would trigger that conversation? You know.
Well, here's the thing that I thought was interesting. It was the way that it was reported. It was what Marcus Smart said during the game and after the game. So
After.
that leads me to believe that maybe there was some sort of confrontation between Smart and the official behind the scenes. You know,
Made
in the
an
hallway
official
or
feel
something.
uncomfortable. Yeah, made him feel.
Yeah, and that's
threatened.
certainly, you know, that's crossing the line. You know,
That's not
keep it
okay.
on the court when
Right.
when there's a disagreement like
Well,
that.
Look,
It goes back to this team's unhealthy obsession with the officiating. We know every team in the league does it, but this group just seems to be a little more
this is-
concerned about it.
you
But
see the
Bobby, it's a
tri-
little bit of that, or is it a little bit of Marcus's attitude or temper? Maybe he reached.
Well,
the
he's
boiling
the
point.
king of it. I mean, he's always looking for the call. We know that. This is his MO as a player.
But
Like,
you saw the trickle down. You even saw Neesmith chasing down officials today. It really does infect everybody.
Neesmith was
Neesmith was
That was
chasing.
kind of funny. That
Yeah.
was
No,
actually
but-
kind of
And
funny.
I thought it
nobody's
was-
even looking at him.
I thought it was funny that no one
What?
stopped him.
What? And,
I'm like,
then
on the
the ref's
charge
like,
call. And you know what? Brad has started to placate it with these challenges. We talked about the Thompson one from the other night. They are getting to him and making sure that he challenges the plays that they want to. And you know what? That probably is a fine line that Brad has to walk. Again, I listen to him on the radio talk about that line he has to talk because they can only do it once. And there are going to be numerous times throughout the night that the team looks at him and says, do you have our back or not? Because they vehemently believe these refs are out to get them.
Well,
And Brad is how to use that. You know, I feel like there's probably, he would admit behind closed doors that there are a few times he probably felt like he was going to lose it, but he felt like he needed to give the team that assurance at the time.
Let me ask Sherrod on Smart here, because we've talked about Smart, like the need for the fiery leader, right? And Smart
Right.
should theoretically be that fiery leader. And we heard Perk the other day say, well, you know, when Marcus does dumb shit, someone's got to hold him accountable. One of the drawbacks. The Celtics say Marcus is our heart and soul and this and that, but I think one of the drawbacks with him potentially being a leader is that sometimes he also needs to be led, or he needs to have someone keep him in check. So
there needs to be a balance, checks and balances there, and there's not. I think for Marcus, I think part of his frustration stems from the fact that when he's just in that mode where things are going well and he's getting frustrated, he doesn't have anyone who can kind of take that angry mantle, if you will, and run with it a little bit so that he doesn't have to be the angry Celtic out there. Tatum putting the hands out for a call, and that's not going to get anything done. That's not angry. That's just being demonstrative. There's a part of me that likes the fact that Marcus was angry in that game, but I think it was displaced anger. Like, rather than crapping on the refs, crap on your teammates and get them fired up to play better so that you're not in that predicament. But again, the fact that he showed emotion, something that I don't think he's done nearly as much this year as we've seen in past years. I think part of that is the fact that he just doesn't have those dogs in the yard that he's used to playing with. Guys that can, when he goes angry Marcus, he's not by himself.
But taking it out on the refs is excuse making to me.
It is, and that's what I'm saying.
It's
that
your
anger
fault
was
this happened, and I hate that. Yeah,
the anger was that he showed towards them should have been towards his teammates, should have been towards his opponents, not the refs. But I like the fact that there's anger that you can see starting to show itself in a very tangible manner now.
I liked his anger, but he literally turned his anger into a 1-game suspension, where you could have turned it into some sort of emotional, like get your guys going, get yourself going.
Right.
So
especially for this game, they had 1.5 games on the Hornets.
I'm sure that's what Brad was upset about, and I'm sure he probably made that very, very clear to him today if they did speak. I have no idea what transpired aside from the tech that he got called, and I don't know if he said something on his way off the court or what happened. We they didn't say that, but whatever it was clearly was enough to, guys get texts for yelling at the refs all the time. Rarely do they get 1-game suspension for it.
Well, I mean, if you go at a ref and it
had to be
longer than just the conversation, you're going to get it. Yeah.
Especially after the game, because think about it, Jimmy. The game's over. Like, what's he going to do at this point? This is just if you're the referee, it's personal. It's personal.
That was frustration. They lost the game, and he took it out on the refs. Like Sherrod said, they put that energy somewhere else.
We've seen this from him before. That game winner in Miami, everyone is celebrating. He was talking on the refs. I think he does that numerous times after games. He has those conversations, those heated exchanges, and it's like a respecting thing with him. Like he feels disrespected by these officials at times, and we know how important respect is to Marcus Smart. And if that reaches too high of a height, we can see where it can go overboard here. But this is just, I feel like this team more than others, it has an unhealthy obsession with the officiating and allows it to consume their minds, take them out of games, and even, as you said, use it as an excuse for how they're playing at times. I mean,
why would Marcus think he deserves the refs' respect? He's one of those guys if you're a notorious flopper, that's the thing that the refs hate, because you're trying to game them all the time. So that's the
John,
wrong way.
He's never gonna escape that, is he? Like, it's been a while. Like, let's think about it. Like the fake flopping. Like, it's just
doing it on a regular basis has been a while, but you're right. That's stuck with him. Marcus doesn't have a great reputation with the refs, so I don't know why he would feel disrespected by them. Like,
but no, I think that's it though. That's part of the frustration though, because he's been labeled this flopper, and he's tried so hard after his first 2 years in the season to get rid of that stigma. And you would think back-to-back first all teams would do it, but it hasn't.
Yeah. And that's where I think the anger and frustration for him comes from. I mean, he when you look at where he's at in terms of just the way he approaches the game from the defensive side of the court, the way he utilizes and doesn't utilize flopping now, he feels he has made efforts to get better in that one area that he has been heavily criticized for. And he feels that he has earned a certain amount of respect. And when you have games like, the other night where he's feeling very disrespected, he's going to get angry and he's going to get pissed, because it's a reminder that you're not where you think you should be in the eyes of these officials. And for him, it's disrespectful. And again, I love the anger. I love that. I love angry Marcus, but I just you don't take it out on them. You take it out on your opponent. You take it out on your teammates to get them to play better. Figure out a way to use that anger in a positive way, and Marcus didn't do that.
Yeah, it's not good. It's poor leadership.
No,
it's poor leadership. Like, they, sure, they won today, but got to be out. He's got to be out there. You know.
That's another one. If they lose tonight, we'd have a different narrative here. Because on a night that Kemba Walker is out, if they went out and lost to Charlotte again, and you went through this stretch of games,
you had to force
with
Brad to start Waters.
Hornets, the Hornets, OKC, and Charlotte, and came out of this stretch 0 for 3. Not to mention Brooklyn without KD and Durant. This could have, possibly should have been a 4-game sweep here. You came out of it 1-3, and if you had lost tonight, you'd be looking at like, guys, what are you doing here? You know, like, so again, Marcus gets away with it here. It's definitely not ideal.
That
show would have been wild if they lost today.
Oh my God.
Neesmith prevented it from
45
happening.
minutes on if they.
Yeah.
John would have been drinking. John would have just put straight from the bottle. F it. You know.
Well, yeah.
I love how Tristan Thompson stepped up in line there too. Those are the two key performances to make up for that.
Game.
Thompson's
Huge
offensive
game.
rebounding, and then Neesmith's overall performance. I thought Thompson defended extraordinarily well throughout this one as well. That was another interesting one. He stays in the starting lineup over Rob. Probably something to do with minute management there, but he ended up earning that start. They were better on the floor. They were better defensively and overall. I thought with him out there tonight.
You could tell.
But Robert got you 9 boards in 17 minutes.
Yeah, get those quick. Got those in a hurry.
I mean, he was
Yeah, a
just
couple of real
snatch.
nice blocks.
He was on double at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
Had that great that chase down block on Devontae Graham, which was awesome.
Yeah.
He was
Loved
good.
it.
Jalen did too.
Rob likes jumping.
Jalen, exactly.
I love that. That's
Devontae
effort.
Graham had a solid game. Speaking of,
Well, he started.
Yeah,
he
he's
realized
pretty
that Draymond can't guard him,
Yeah.
and he just went. He just
But
went.
I
at
don't
him.
know why it took him so long to figure that out.
It took him a half to figure that out.
Yeah.
And I'm not. I couldn't figure that one out.
He Googled Draymond at halftime. He was like, "Well, wait a minute, this guy, he's barely played on this team this year."
So Mark Murphy said Smart was cited for incidents that took place during and after the game. So there was obviously something that happened
I just
after
think
the game
I
occurred.
think
Well, after the
is what
game
made
is
it a
what
suspension.
caught the
We said
suspension
that
because what he
5
did during the game was not suspendable interaction and engagement with the refs. It was the after the game that cost him.
Mm-hmm.
you know,
It's not
like I
good.
said, it was either walking up the court or could have been. You guys know how the hallways are there. Where the refs room is and everything. So I mean, anything could have happened really.